All right, we're live.
Okay, welcome everybody to the Zen Biweekly Update. This is November 22nd, 2017, and I am your host, Rob Viglione, at FinPunk on the forums. So we don't have Block Ops Rolf with us today, so I'll just be doing this by myself, and we have a bunch of our team members online, so we'll have different people chime in at different moments when we'll have some cool, interesting stories to tell. So there's, as always, a ton to get through and limited time. So I'll just get right to it. And if you have any questions, please, you can either post your questions into the biweekly update chat channel, the text chat channel, and we'll get to them after the Q&A session, or type it into the YouTube channel as we go. And we'll have different people online who could either answer right away, or I'll get to it in the Q&A. So. Okay, great. Well, it's another really cool, really good 2 weeks that we've had, just starting with the big picture. So the team just continues to grow. Right? The most important part for this project is the community. We keep trying to emphasize this every chance we get, and I mean it. It's really important to us. So people within the community who have been showing way above normal participation, we've been kind of bringing into the core team to help out with certain things. So I'll do a team intro. Let's see, I think we may have someone unmuted. Devin, I think that's you. If you mind just muting yourself, we can hear some rustling. Okay, cool. So besides the team growth, I'll introduce a few new team members. We've got development updates. We'll go through those, and then new and ongoing projects. And we've got a bunch of integrations and outreach efforts that have been ongoing. So I'll briefly mention some of the successes we've had there these last 2 weeks. And then DevMan is going to pop online and give a secure node system update, probably the big elephant in the room that everyone's expecting. So we have some firm things that we'll mention there. And then we have been updating the roadmap. We have some really cool things with that. And then we've got a bunch of marketing updates. We've got Tatiana on the line, a rebranding effort ongoing, and then we're prepping for a few conferences coming up, some big ones, the Crypto World Expo in Warsaw next week, and then the Latin American Bitcoin and Blockchain Conference in Bogota the week thereafter. So the week thereafter. Okay, let's make sure that everyone on the voice channel is muted. Okay. And second. Okay, cool. So let's move on to the next slide. We've got our team is pretty awesome, and it's getting more awesome every week. So we have a few new guys I wanted to mention to everyone. We've got Pierre Stabalini, who's at PS71 in the forums on Discord and Slack. He's a senior software engineer, experienced in a whole bunch of different programming languages, Java, Go, C, Python, C++. So he's going to be one of our core blockchain developers. We've been having a lot of interactions with him. He's just a super ambitious guy, super nice guy to work with. And he was part of the community and just started doing stuff and being productive. So we just figured we'll bring him onto the team and just unleash his talent. So he's already been doing a great job, and we're going to continue seeing some good stuff in the near future from him. We've got Pat Hennis. He's at Pat in the forums. I know he's a computer science student with some really cool unmanned aerial system experience, which means drones. So he's really, really good, motivated guy who's been helping out a lot, and he's helping in particular with Jake and John Galt Zero on the Ledger integration. So really happy to have him on board. And then one of our community members that was just going above and beyond all the time, Rowan Stone, we figured let's bring him on to be our UK lead. He actually pitched that to us, and we were extremely happy because he's been doing a great job already in the community. He has an engineering, IT background. He's a cryptocurrency miner, and he already put together a really solid plan for outreach in the UK, which is actually a fairly big market for us. So really happy to have him on board as well. So if we can go to the next, the development updates. Cool. Actually, Jake, I think it might be. Would you mind muting yours? I guess it is already muted. I'm hearing a bunch of updates. Hopefully, aren't being too annoying for everyone. But okay, so on the development side, we have, as always, a bunch going on. But the secure nodes. So DevMan's going to talk about that in a few slides. I won't spoil the story there. Jake's been working Ledger. We had actually a sprint last weekend where Jake drove down here to the Carolinas, and he met up with John Galt Zero. They were dialing in with Pat, and they had some office space where they just powered through just a ton of stuff. So this was actually a much bigger project than we thought. Jake, you're online right now. Do you want to just pop in and maybe say a few words on what's going on with Ledger?
Sure. So basically, it's taking a lot longer than we had originally expected, because when looking at some of the other pull requests for some of the other coin implementations, they didn't actually change the way the transactions are processed or anything like that. They were all standard transactions, whereas for our BIP 0115 implementation, we do need to change that. So it's a little more than expected, but we're making pretty good progress, and all of our testing seems to be going really well. We've pretty much gotten everybody a different ledger now. Everybody's using Ledger Nano S's, and we're hopefully going to get a Ledger Blue soon so we can test on there. And we've made a lot of really good progress. Everything's on the GitHub, so if you want to help out, you're more than welcome to grab that, do a pull request, or jump in one of the channels and start messaging us. And we're, always willing to listen to new people with new ideas.
Okay, awesome. And so going to our roadmap, we had a bunch of key things in the roadmap, the original roadmap from the white paper, an IPFS, the Interplanetary File System, distributed document publishing system. Integration for us was a really big deal. And that's something that Ivan, our Swing Wallet developer, just started diving into and integrating into the Swing Wallet. So we began that recently, and we're continuing work. And that'll be our first implementation of IPFS integration. But the plan is to have IPFS integrated into all of our wallets, at least the wallets that make sense to do it in, maybe not our light clients, and maybe even a standalone application that integrates with our system and IPFS. So some cool things on the horizon there, but we're already starting work, so that's nice to see. Now, Rolf went into a bunch of detail on the zencash JS library. That's our JavaScript library that Kendrick actually put together. And it's having incremental improvements over time. So Kendrick just keeps adding more functionality to it. These are the things that it may not seem like a sexy project to everyone in the community, but it's really important to us to constantly improve all of our technology. So our zencash JS library, Kendrick, is continuing to improve. And he just recently added the shielded transactions or shielded addresses. So transactions as shielded addresses to the library. So that was really cool. And that'll feed into a bunch of our other applications that use that library. So it'll make things with our light clients in particular a lot easier. Now, Robin, so I can't pronounce this, at is working on community tipping bot, which I think will be really fun for the community, because this will integrate with our, for sure, Discord and maybe Slack channels, just to give people incentives to do things and reward people who are doing a really good job in the community, who are just helping out other people and just taking responsibility and making the project better. So that would be a really fun thing to see. Now, the next development updates, slide number 2. We're continuing with the zencash mobile app improvements. So we know that there's some bugs in the app. We're getting some feedback in the Google Play Store and our other comm channels. So we're working to fix these known issues. We have the bugs documented in issues on GitHub, and we're going to be working through them. On the good news front there, we had a finished translation by Advil Rentinen. Apologize for the pronunciation. I'm not really good with Finnish names, but that's really cool. So it's nice to see that our software is being constantly improved and accessible to different people around the world. Now, Dom is working, is working our proposal submission and voting system version 1. So because we are a community project, we want everything to be as transparent as possible and open to as many community members as possible. So a really big thing there is for us to have a nice graphical user interface where people can submit standardized proposals and the community can directly comment and vote on them. Now, this was something that we had in our white paper. What we were envisioning in the white paper actually was kind of like the end goal, which was a fully baked into the protocol proposal submission and voting system. But we figured, why wait until we have this really massive R&D project implemented, which could take some time? Why not just go and put something together quickly? So Dom is an awesome community member who's just been extremely active. So he put together a quick proposal, and he's been working on that. And we actually have a full slide. So I see Dom's online here. I'll have him talk to his full slide rather than me doing it here. So next slide, please. The Arizen wallet. So the Arizen wallet was is under constant improvement. We have a few updates in the last 2 weeks, but there's a ton of ongoing work. But what's been done in the last 2 weeks was a new resizable layout with a graphical user interface, and the appearance changed a little bit to make it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing to users. And there's a whole bunch of new features that have been in planning and actually listed in GitHub. If you guys are interested, you can follow the project on the GitHub repository and see all the new features that are planned and what's been worked on. That's Lucas's project and the team he's running out of the Czech Republic. They have a really good organizational structure and open to feedback. So please definitely leave feedback for him and check out what they're up to. They have a really good visibility into the project. They also included a paper wallet export into the Arizen, which is really cool to have if you want to keep your money offline. This is a nice, a neat feature to do it. You can export your wallet into a paper wallet and keep that somewhere safe physically, get it offline. And they're working to make the wallet more user-friendly for secure node operators. So they're building a set of features that are tailored to them, which will be really nice when the secure node system is live. We'll have a nice wallet tailored to those secure node operators to make things a little bit easier for them. One feature that just popped out was just to make a really simple automatic withdrawal mechanism for an address that you designate to be a secure node staking address. You have a requirement of 42 Zen. Well, as you're accumulating more Zen in that staking address, this just offers an automated way to just move those funds to an accumulation address. So a bunch of other neat features. Check out the repository and you'll see what they're up to. Okay, so the proposal system from Dom, or Dom, if you're online, you wanna just pop in and talk to it a little bit?
I am online, actually.
Cool.
So the proposal system is a work in progress. Currently, most of the front end stuff is done. It's a React-based front end with MobX. It's going to be a loopback API system. Eventually, we'd like to get it working directly on the protocol, and the proposal system will act just as a hub for finding the proposals on the blockchain. But that's a farther out project. Hopefully, I'm looking at completing this and having it up for beta testing so people can submit proposals and test it out, make sure there's no bugs, about end of November, early December. But obviously, there's a lot of holidays and stuff going on right now. It's taking my time up.
Awesome. Oh, thank you. This is a very exciting project. I'm really happy that you just jumped in and got it going.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, cool. So we've been going on a bunch of business development outreach, or we've been putting a lot of effort into business development outreach and onboarding different merchants to accept zencash. So we've had a bunch of successes there. So we figured it's about time to put together a merchant directory so that number one, it's great for our community to know, like, if you're really into this project, like I'm sure most people here who are taking the time to listen to this, you probably want to support the ecosystem and support those members of the ecosystem, like businesses that are accepting Zen. So we're going to put together a really nice merchant directory so that all the merchants can display their support for the project and the fact that they accept Zen for various goods and services. And for number two, for the merchants, it's a great thing too, because we're promoting their businesses. So it's kind of like a reward to them for supporting us. We would like to support them. So it's Gustavo's working this at Rocket, and he's putting together a really cool user interface we'll add to the website. where you can find out where to shop with Zen. Businesses can list themselves, and he's looking to be complete ETC on this of end of November. Cool. Next, the next thing that we just started a partnership with a company called FlowCrypt. These guys were called Cryptop. So if you're into PGP encryption for your email or other messaging, then like I am and probably other members of this community are, you probably have come across these guys at some point. They have an app that makes it really, really easy to use PGP encryption with your Gmail service. So it's really cool interface. You just install this extension into Chrome, and you can encrypt your email messages and using PGP without even really doing anything other than clicking a nice green button that pops up for compose a message. And it automatically scans whenever you post your public key and other people are reaching out to you with your public key, it'll automatically scan emails and it'll decrypt them for you if someone encrypted a message for you. So it's a really cool service that I personally enjoy. So I recommend everyone else check it out. You know, we're trying to support privacy, period. So any of these projects that are kind of extending our footprint into the privacy ecosystem, I'm a really big fan of. Now, what we're doing with these guys is we're starting a really simple project where we're going to host their users' public keys on our chain. So we have an arbitrary data element where we can include arbitrary data to transactions, and we're working right now a prototype with them to make it publishing the public keys on our chain and then dynamically retrieving them with their system. So it'd be a really cool thing. Now we have a cryptocurrency, right? But I think that for a lot of these projects, particularly ours, where we're trying to be more of a privacy ecosystem, it's really important to extend the functionality and make the changes more useful, right? So the more transactions we have going over the chain, the more types of services that are being built on top of it are going to increase our value in the long run. So this may look like a nice little pet project, but it's the start of something that I can see as a whole set of new projects for doing similar things, where we're hosting data on the chain and just making it dynamically retrievable from people so that you can think of an arbitrary number of potential uses for that. So anything we can do to make zencash more useful to the community, we're working on. So now the roadmap that we're updating. So I've mentioned this before, but our initial roadmap was spelled out in our white paper. And the thing is, in the last 6 months, we've accomplished most of what we set out to accomplish. Okay, so we've done on the transaction front, we've created a bunch of wallet options. We're still creating more, actually. We've integrated with a bunch of exchanges. We're continuing to do that. We've started a big merchant services adoption campaign. We're actively seeking more exchanges, more merchants. On the communication front, we have built in our embedded messenger into the Swing wallet. We have a standalone ZenChat app. We've built what we think is the most secure messaging system in the world right now because it uses ZK snarks over our chain. And we started off with just one-to-one messaging using the system, and then we've recently extended it to one-to-many with now the potential for group chat in initially the Swing wallet, but we'll be extending that. We're working on the publishing right now. Again, the Swing wallet's embedding IPFS into that system, but we're also going to be looking at other integrations, maybe standalone app. So we've gone quite a bit down the initial roadmap. We still have domain fronting to do. And I think as far as the big ticket items, we're kind of nearing completion on them. So what we've been doing for actually the last couple months, just quietly in the background, and we've alluded to some of the things here and there, but we've been developing like an R&D pipeline for one. So a whole set of really interesting R&D projects that we're interested in initiating. So as we're talking about roadmap version 2 or white paper version 2, with this updated roadmap, we've been brainstorming with our technical team, different members of the community, and we think we have some really solid stuff to release. So my target now is to release a public roadmap on Trello, with a public board on Trello. So we've currently been using Trello for team communications and team brainstorming, but what we're going to do is we're going to open this up to the public so everyone can see what we're doing to make the project a completely different degree of transparent, which I think is extremely important. And what would be really cool here is to get community feedback on the roadmap items that we have and new suggestions, new ideas that people can submit for things that we can start working on. So we have some really, really cool stuff there. Now I'm going to target announcing this for the next live stream with the public Trello board. Okay, so going down the business developments and integrations route with, we did our first successful launch on the Storm platform. This is something that we mentioned a couple months ago that we were going to be working with these guys, and we have. So we just concluded our first campaign on Storm. Now, this is a really, really cool team. They just ICO'd, but they were a really good company before they decided to ICO, and they're still a good company. But what they are is that they started off as a gaming app or a platform for gamers. They've transitioned that into a micro-tasking platform with over 250,000 subscribers to it. They're active on the platform. So what we did was we had our first campaign with them, and we invited people to enter a sweepstakes, essentially, where they could win some Zen. And to do that, they had to submit an email address, and then the email address would be enrolled into our newsletter. Now, everyone has a chance, obviously, to opt out, and they chose not to, or 80% of them chose not to, which is really good. We had a big extension on our newsletter, which is a core asset for the project in itself, because this is how we get a lot of critical information out to the public. So the more people we have in the community, the better. And almost 5,000 new members to that mailing list, I think, is a really, really nice win for this campaign. Jane has been sending the winners. So there were 100 winners chosen. She's been sending them tailored emails for each of the markets that they're in. So check your emails. If you enrolled in this campaign, you could have won and maybe not realize it yet. So check your email and redeem your Zen. So she put a snapshot in here of the top countries where people came from. Now, India was #1, which was nice to see because we haven't been seeing a lot of mention of India on the project to date. So India, Bangladesh, Indonesia, these are countries that really haven't been active in terms of like website visits or other community participation in our communication channels. So it's really nice to see that through this one campaign, we're able to touch people from completely different markets that we don't usually get to do. Okay, now another integration. So we've been talking about Bisq actually for months, and Jake, kudos to him. He did this integration, did a great job on it, and he pushed it to the Bisq community a while ago actually, and they've had it sitting in the pipeline for the next software release. Well, they recently released the new software that includes zencash in there. Now, Bisq is a really cool platform because, well, one, we're a decentralized project and we're trying to decentralize in as many dimensions as possible. And a really big aspect of decentralization is to get on as many exchanges as possible. But even within the exchange domain, I think it's important for us to support decentralized exchanges in particular. Now, Bisq is a decentralized peer-to-peer exchange, so I'm a really big fan of supporting them. Now, it's an open source platform, which is great because anyone in the world can audit their code, which I think adds an extra level of assurance to the platform. And the cool thing with Bisq is that their markets include both cryptocurrency and fiat trading pairs, which is really interesting. So now you can trade zencash against various fiat trading pairs as well. So thanks again to Jake for doing this. This was a really nice integration, and it's really cool. So I went in there earlier this morning to check out the trading activity, and there's not much. So please, I encourage everyone, get in there and support these guys. Add some liquidity to the exchange. I'll do that later this afternoon as well. I encourage everyone else to do that. Let's try to support our partners who are supporting us. Now, Jeremy has been working a ton of merchant outreach. He's at Jam III and the platforms, if you see him around. So we have a bunch of new merchants that are accepting Zen. This isn't a complete list for sure, but you see a bit of a pattern here is that VPN providers are accepting Zen fairly quickly in terms of the types of businesses that are accepting Zen, which makes sense, right? We're a privacy platform, so it's important for us to reach out to these types of businesses that are in the privacy ecosystem. VPN providers are a really big part of that. So thanks again, Jeremy, for all of your hard work there. Okay, so secure nodes, the really big thing that everyone's probably waiting to hear from. Alan, are you online? Do you want to dive in here?
Yep, I'm online. Okay, so the secure nodes. Last couple of weeks, we have been finding all sorts of little things in the background, in the infrastructure. We've been working through that and moving things like sessions out of the database to a Redis store, removing and optimizing API calls, doing a lot of failover testing, and also converting the payout system to a multi-sig process. That was a bit of a challenge. There's a lot of payments that will be going out, and we had to implement things like a batch process because of the size of the transactions that were going out. So needless to say, it was a bit of a challenge, but I've been testing that locally, and we'll be moving that over onto the beta testnet and trying some payments there over the next few days. So we're also working on finalizing the migration plan to mainnet, and we're looking at moving the servers to mainnet on November 30th. So we'll probably be live. We're shooting for December 1st. There's still some things in the background that are being done. We're still doing load balancers on the Explorers, encrypted dedicated servers for backups and logging, doing snapshots from the backups, implementing monitoring logging, but we should have all that done by next Thursday, the 30th, so that we can actually cut over. We'll put some instructions up, exactly what node operators need to do and how we're going to cut over. That'll probably be posted beginning of next week sometime, maybe by Tuesday or Wednesday, so everybody can prep. And once we're over, we'll probably have about a 2-week period where we're not doing anything with the payouts. We want to see how far or how well the servers react with a higher load. I'm personally expecting probably somewhere in the vicinity of maybe 2,500 nodes. Maybe there'll be more, I'm not sure. It's hard to say because so many people are putting them up, then taking them down, and only doing a portion of them, but planning on actually implementing and firing up many more. I think that's it for the secure nodes, unless you had any other slide there.
So that's the big portion. So thank you, Alan. I guess the really big news here that everyone's been waiting for is what's the date on the system going live on mainnet. So the big news there was November 30th. So thanks for that. I know this project has been a massive effort. There was actually so much more that went into this than I was initially envisioning. So any expectations that weren't clear from the beginning, I'll be the first to take responsibility for. But I think this is really good news, is that we have a firm date next week where we're committed to transition these servers over to mainnet and have the system go live. Now, one really important thing that I wanted to clarify that Alan actually mentioned to me earlier was maybe not everyone in the community understands this, but the whole purpose of the secure node system is to offer an opportunity for members of the community to positively contribute to the overall node architecture, essentially to our ecosystem, but through this channel. And for providing services to the system, that's why we're compensating secure node operators, right? We're not just compensating people, in some sort of, money-making scheme. We're not trying to lock up an inordinate amount of supply in like a master node system. We are asking people to help out by providing very specific services to the network. Now, the first set of services that we're doing will be processing transactions, operating a full node with enhanced security. So you're helping out the end-to-end encryption, you're processing transactions, you're keeping a full copy of the blockchain for redundancy and censorship resistance. But we definitely will be thinking about other ways and other types of services that we would want to layer into the system, right? So other really cool technological innovations that we can layer into the secure node architecture that will make the entire system better off. Okay, so this is just the first set of services that we're asking for, and this is why we're paying people the 3.5% of the block rewards, right? So just wanted to clarify that, and thanks, Alan, for the update. Now, at Madar, now he's a very prolific member of our who probably doesn't get enough attention for all of the stuff that he's always doing in the background. So he's always on the Bitcoin Talk threads, and he's our lead guy there. He's been doing an amazing job since the beginning, and a whole bunch of different types of campaigns he's been running. But he asked me to announce just he started a forum thread on asking people where they plan on hosting their Zen Secure nodes. And basically, it's a way for people in the community to share their experiences with each other and help each other out. So please, if you have a minute, just get onto the forum. I put the link here, and just share your experiences and share your plans on what you plan on doing, what hosting services you intend to use, and maybe you can help out with any new people that are looking to set things up and maybe having some difficulties. Okay, so now we have a whole bunch of market updates for our country leads. Now, we've been doing one thing that I think differentiates us as a project is we're actually empowering our community, and we're doing this initially by empowering people in different regions and different countries that are just very motivated and already have a big Zen community, and they're really helping out build this community much better. Now, before we dive into these slides, I know Angie, who I introduced the last live stream, she's online now. I'm not sure if she's in the voice channel, but Angie, if you want to jump in, I know you asked to introduce yourself, maybe say a few words about some of your plans and things that you're working on. Yeah, I see you online, but I don't see you in the biweekly update voice channel. So anyway, you can interrupt me at any point, and that's totally fine. Now, Rowan, are you online? Do you want to go over the UK market slides? I'm not sure what your username is in here, but if you're online, you're welcome to chime in and cover the slide, or else I'll cover it. Okay. Well, that's fine. I will cover. So the first of the country slides that we have, the UK market. Big welcome to Rowan Stone as the UK market lead. Again, like I said at the introduction to this presentation, he's been a key member in a bunch of our communication channels. So it's nice to see him step up and actively build the market there, which is a really important market for us. So I've mentioned his background already, but engineer, IT background. He's a cryptocurrency miner, but also has a bunch of business management experience. So it's a really good combination for us, to build out that market. Because we're not just looking for people who are good at marketing, which is great to have. Like that in itself is an extremely important technical skill. But for someone who is kind of like standalone out there without a full team to support them, it's also important, I think, for them to understand how to set up nodes and how to answer some of the basic technical questions that they're almost guaranteed to be bombarded with all the time. So it's nice to have everyone on board. He attended his first event on the 16th, where he opened up 10 new zencash wallets. Hopefully we keep getting more of those. That's always a nice thing, where you have just that person-to-person interface and get people onboarded to the project and to the community. And he has a ton of future plans, networking events, targeted business development with merchants, esports venues, exchanges, etc. And he's structuring like a coherent marketing campaign as well in the UK. So it's really cool to have that kind of leadership and direction there. Now, David, if you're online, you have a ton of amazing stuff going on in Russia and Eastern Europe. Do you want to pop in?
Sure. Hello, everyone. David here. Rob, I was going to tell you, while we're busy here and chatting with people, Rowan is actually out there and doing this stuff. So it's okay if he's not here. I was really impressed how much he's actually done in such a short time. So kudos to him. Now, as far as Russia, Eastern European market, I've been focusing a lot about spreading the Zen love through different communication channels, and specifically, community members may remember we partner with Tarpan Digest. Inna Tarpan is the star there, to do educational videos about Zen, and we have successfully completed the first one, and I think it went viral on the different communication channels, including Telegram and Discord and Slack yesterday, I believe. And so far, people are liking it. I see a lot of views. Hundreds was yesterday. Yeah, so of course, first one is the hardest one. So we sure hope to have many more to come. And the first one, we talked about it a lot and kind of thought about what we should have done. And we did more of a plain language, more of a something that you would show an average cryptocurrency enthusiast to learn about Zen. So as far as future videos, I actually would love to get an input from the community itself, what kind of information they would like on these videos. I'm thinking at least one type would be instructional and informational things. For example, how to set up secure nodes. And we're talking about all this in Russian, specifically for Russian market. Even though Ina herself is bilingual. And by the way, she's not just this random person enthusiast who is sitting in front of web camera and talking. That, of course, itself is great. We'll take anybody who does that. But she specifically is a professional sort of crypto. I don't even know what the profession would be called, but she has a deep expertise in cryptocurrency and has a dedicated crew who films her videos. So that's a huge asset. So we're certainly looking forward to working with her more. It's one thing. So the another thing pretty interesting. We had a Zen showed up as a star on one of the main Russian state TV channel called Russia 24 in Russian. That's how it's translated. That's kind of similar of CSPN in the United States with 50 million people watching. And I would love to take all the credit that, hey, I called my friend Vladimir Putin to put it on TV, but I didn't. It was, and it's probably better value that way because it didn't have any lobbying, nothing. It was just a Russian government themselves picked a few cryptocurrencies who they thought were successful in a given moment and happened to be last month, and they just put it up there as one of the top ones. And my conclusion was, if you can get the attention of the Russian government in cryptocurrency, that is definitely guaranteed that you're doing something right. So here's my confirmation. And last but not the least, we're going to have some Russian Zen presence at the Crypto World Conference in Warsaw. We'll be sending one of our most active member of the community, Alex, there, who has a great combination of being a diehard fan of zencash, along with having a lot of knowledge. And I mean, I learned myself a lot by just talking to him about zencash specifically, and it turned out to have an actually excellent presentation skills. That's of course is a plus and always a nice thing to have as an asset. As we recorded another interview that I'll probably publish by the next community meeting. And of course, there's a few other things that I don't overload the slide with. For example, I think it was since the last community meeting, that we committed to translate the whole meeting in Russian with a voiceover that would help the native speaker to better follow and understand everything that we talk about, rather than asking people to translate it for them. The other thing I wanted to announce is that the developer engagement continues, and I actually wanted to reach out to our community there to refer any sort of a blockchain developers that you may know, or anybody who could chime in the projects, as Rob mentioned. With different aspects of development, please send us their contact information through the website feedback form that is specifically on the Russian one. So I think that's about all I have for now. Thanks a lot, Rob.
No, thank you, Davi. It's always cool. I can't believe that we made it to Russian TV. That's a big milestone. It's really cool to see. Right. Now, actually, so Angie, I see you popped into the voice channel here. Do you want to, talk for a minute? I know you don't have a slide to talk to, but it'd be cool just to hear from you and hear what you're up to.
Hello there. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're good.
Hello there. Can you hear me? Yay! Thanks. Yay! Thanks. I was having some technical issues. Sorry.
No worries. You have a bit of an echo. I don't know if you have two devices open. You have a bit of an echo.
Okay, let me see. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. So actually, you want to
Hello, hello.
mute the YouTube. You probably have that.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. Well, here, let's see. Maybe one on a. Okay, cool. Well, all right. So Angie's muted until we get that big echo fixed. Arno, are you around? You've got a bunch of cool updates as well.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, always a pleasure to have you online.
Yeah, great. Yeah, so for my slide, I just want to give some updates about the next person meetings or where you can meet me in person. And the one will be in end of the month, 13th November. I think all of you who are interested in secure nodes will now know the date. Yeah, there I will be in Freiberg. It will be somehow an open talk. The aim is also to reach students from the university in Freiberg who might hear Bitcoin and want to understand what is a digital currency. I will show details about zencash and what the special thing is about, our privacy focus, of course. And then I'm glad that Felipe, the new member in the German team, is helping out in the Cryptocurrency World Expo. And then some small things. Next week, blockchain is somehow a workshop for everyone. So normally we are working with some Ethereum topics, and I'm always trying to bring zencash in. For example, I prepared some zencash like guide, and yeah, that's actually the things which will happen this month or in the next 2 weeks. I want to use the moment and thank all my supporters. I want to thank Peter, who helped you in the Cologne meetup. I want to thank Tross, who is doing the translation of the Secure Node guy from Rolf. And I want to thank, of course, Lex, who did the presentation slide translation, and all the other Germans who are helping out in the zencash community. You're very welcome. I'm glad that you're here. And don't be shy, don't hide. And you can use any anonymous or pseudonym to contact me, or just do on your own some English proposals if you want. If you want to do it only in German, it's fine. You can do. I can do some translation if needed, or we just chat in German. So thank you all, and let's get sent bigger.
Awesome. Thanks, Arno. Okay, Angie, you want to give it another go here?
Okay, hello there.
Much better.
Okay, so there's no echo, right?
No, you're good.
Okay, great. Yay, finally. Such a newbie in this. Okay, well, hello to everyone. I first want to thank Rob and the whole zencash team for including me here and this very cool project into the community, into the whole all things that we are doing right now. I'm trying to catch up because you guys, I have to say, you're going pretty fast. So it's like, okay, I have to catch up with everything, be up to date with all the things you are doing. It's pretty exciting and pretty amazing the things you are all doing. So first of all, thank you all for the invitation. And well, I'm glad to be part of this amazing community. Well, just a few intro from my side. I'm from Mexico. I live in Monterrey up north, very close to the United States border. And well, I've been in this whole crypto road for 1.5 years now. And it's amazing. It's amazing how fast this whole world is evolving, and it's pretty interesting to be part of it. Well, from my side, I wanted to talk a little bit about how we can build the strategies together to make and to bring zencash grow and get stronger in the Mexican and Latin American communities and markets. I believe there's a huge potential here, and there's a lot of things we can do together. Please, everyone, feel free to reach me or to write me to so we can chat in our channel in Spanish and so on. I'm pretty open to comments and to build strategies together. I see a lot of opportunity here. Recently, we have some events of blockchain events here in my city. So it was pretty exciting to be part of that and to trying to bring zencash into these markets. I think there's a lot of good opportunities in there, and that we can all work together as a team. I think one of the challenges we have in some of the Latin American countries is for people to understand the value that we have to offer as a company. So everyone or anyone that has some strategies or ideas that we can work on to try to adapt and to trying to get this message out there, that will be very helpful. So we can work together to build these things and to communicate this to people, because a lot of people doesn't understand quite well. So it's the challenge is how to make them value what we have to offer. And yeah, well, how can we adapt our products and needs to the markets, to all the evolving markets now. So yeah, well, I'm also going to be in Colombia in 2 weeks from now with the zencash team. We're going to be there in the Latin American Bitcoin and Blockchain Conference. So I think it's going to be a perfect event to integrate more with people into the community and to try to adapt all of the strategies as I was saying, and well, yeah, how we can move forward and continue with all of that. I'm sorry that I didn't have any slides, but I will be preparing them for the next call. So yeah, you can start seeing what we're trying to do here in Mexico and in other countries. So I think it's going to be pretty exciting. And thank you again all for giving me this opportunity. I'm pretty glad to be part of this whole cool project. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Angie. So Luca, are you online right now? Do you want to talk to the Italian market, which is near and dear to me, being an Italian American? Okay, well, maybe some. Yeah, I see you online, but muted. So feel free to chime in here. I don't know if you're having. Okay, did that work, Luca? I just unmuted you myself. If you're there, you feel free to chime in.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do you
You know,
do you hear
unfortunately,
me?
the sound quality is pretty poor. There's a fairly big lag there, kind of broken up.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I'll just go through your slides. That's so really happy to have Luca on board, build out the Italian market. So officially launched that effort this month, where he's already gone out and got some industry websites and blogs to start speaking about zencash and its potential, which is really cool for us, just to get that exposure into a completely different market. Now we actually had a bit of
Rob,
an Italian community. Yes,
is it any better now?
that is much better.
Okay,
Great.
cool.
I'll let you do your magic.
So I just changed my network. So I take this chance to introduce myself, since I was not able to do that last time. I'm Luca Cermelli from Milan, in Italy, north of Italy. And I joined the zencash team only in the beginning of November. So I just had a short time to start developing the Italian market. But so far, it has been a great experience getting in touch with the industry websites and blogs. So I began to speak with them about zencash and its potential, and the results are already starting coming. So we had a first article, very interesting, on one of the main websites talking about the crypto industry. And then I'm also setting up interviews with other stakeholders. And of course, I'm meeting the local community, which is very, its dimensions are, of course, very limited for now, and zencash is not known at all. This is an issue, and I'll try to fix it. So what I'm doing with that is basically starting talking both with the agnostic and crypto enthusiasts, both with professionals and non-professionals, and of course meeting people online, but especially in person. This is where I got a lot of feedbacks and a lot of attention. So I'm definitely going on in this way. You can see a picture displayed on the slide that was just a meeting with some local people in a laser tag. What I'm trying to do is getting to geeks, getting to, if I can find, would be even better to find some cyberpunk. What the goal is
Lucas, seems like we may have lost you.
best.
Oh, there, you kind of came back.
Sorry, I was just finishing saying that I'll do my best. I'm glad to be part of the team. It's an awesome family. I'm also looking forward to meeting all the other colleagues on the other side of the ocean. So very happy to be on board.
Awesome, Luca. Thank you very much, and really happy to have you as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, this whole effort that we have of growing out our regional teams is very important to us. We want to empower people in different parts of the world. This should not just be a U.S. or European project. Like we want everyone who's part of this community, no matter where you're from in the world. We want to have you to have the opportunity to kind of represent your area. So the next slide we have here is Jane put it in. So she's kind of the first point of contact if you're interested. So if you're part of the community, and I urge you, like, get active first. Don't just kind of come here and say you want to be a country lead, but get active in the community. And if you don't see any representation in your, you can help grow your region. So reach out to Jane. Her email address is just jane@zensystems.io if you're interested. Now there is a bit of a time commitment, about 8 to 15 hours a week, but you'll have a ton of support from us. We're a really close-knit organization. We're kind of like like a big cyber family. So we're always around to help you out. We have awesome marketing support with Crypto Media Hub. So we definitely want there to be a real-time flow of information across the organization. So you'll have a ton of support. We'd love to hear from you. Now, I'll say though, or I'll stress this, is we've probably grown a lot more rapidly than we originally envisioned, right? So we have plenty of people. We're kind of going back and like reorganizing a little bit and getting more efficient just because we've grown so rapidly. So we're not looking for more people for more people's sake, but we're looking for the right people. So if you're out there and you want to be part of this, please reach out. We'd love to hear from you. But it will take a bit of a commitment. So, okay, on to our marketing slides. Tatiana, I saw you online. Do you want to take it away?
That master word. I'm so proud. Hey, everybody. How's it going?
What's up, Tatiana?
I'm well. I feel like a real sense of accomplishment. Now I've figured out Discord at least a bit. Cool. So normally Callie does these calls, but she is on Australia time. So I said since I was available, I would come on and say hi to everybody anyway. So we've got a bunch of different slides, just kind of doing overviews. As you can see, the numbers are up across the board. And I don't know if the team knows, but, we're going to be doing a lot more work with zencash moving forward. So we'll have somebody from our team in the Discord and Slack channels a lot more frequently. And I think that's going to help us incorporate a lot of community ideas and also create more thorough, like just a larger stream of content. So I expect that these numbers will continue to go up. But for now, we've got some good beginnings to start with because, we started back in July. So as you guys can see, Twitter is up. Facebook is up. We were thinking of also doing some promoted posts on Facebook. Out of principle, I hate giving them money, but you may want to do it. We'll think about it. In general, we're trying to think of different kinds of advertising options. Did we start sponsoring Scott Horton's show yet?
We have not. I talked to Scott last week, so need to close the loop on that. But yeah, it's something very happy to do. If you want to talk about Scott, like he's a really, really cool guy. I think really well aligned with the project and his values.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. You know, since this is sort of, I think, of like a really ideologically driven project, I wanted to kind of expand the kinds of audiences that we're reaching to people who are at least kind of thinking the way that we were, but maybe weren't necessarily as aware with cryptocurrencies, but could benefit from them. So for me, you know, cryptocurrency in general was an answer to my answers that were unanswered.
Oh, hey, Tatiana, your voice dropped quite a bit on the decibel.
Oh, really?
There
Okay.
you are. You're back.
All right, cool. So anyway, yeah, I mean, he's got his show and it's 3 times a week, so we'll be getting the word out over there. So I think that'll be neat. And yeah, we'll be checking out some other advertising options as we go, and as we have new announcements coming. Facebook, we've got some more deeper analytics right here. Everything is pretty much up across the board. Although videos are down because I don't think that we were posting any videos, but now we have some more resources. I think that we'll be able to take some of, especially the community videos, maybe we can rip them and re-upload them up onto the Facebook natively, because Facebook doesn't really like to show YouTubes from other, just other content outside of its little area that it concentrates on. The website, we've had analytics for a little while now. There's some things that are up, some things are down, but I think when the new website launches, we'll have you know, a lot more to promote on the site in terms of kind of pushing it out there and spending some focus. And then we also have some rebranding, and we're just looking at some of these so we're just kind of figuring it out from a copyright and trademark legal standpoint. Website content is being updated, and we're not going to really rush the rebranding campaign. But we are going to, here's some things that Callie actually asked me to bring up. We're going to do a zencash brand board. So this way all the teams can use it as a reference. So it'll have, you know, the font, all the logos, anything that you might need in order to make the Zen brand really powerful and kind of have it be uniform across the board. So, you know, if people want to kind of tweak it a little bit to make it for their region, okay, but at least we'll all be dealing with the same deck, so to speak. We'll also be putting out some templates so we could do PowerPoints in a nice uniform way, emails, one-pagers, newsletters. So this way things can look nice and formatted, and they always look professional. And yeah, I mean, basically it's some best practices. And then the relaunch of the brand the strategy is coming out soon. And I think that's all we have on my end.
Cool. Thank you, Tatiana. That's great stuff. And yeah, happy to. Oh yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, wait, one last thing. So there's upcoming events and conferences. I know that everybody's going to be doing some of them, but I'm really excited about the Warsaw one and the Latin American Bitcoin Conference. So we'll definitely be posting different content from there and stuff. So we encourage the community to really share things, check out our Twitter feeds, give us a like on Facebook, and, you know, stay engaged on that front, because you guys are going to be sharing that for us. So yeah, I think it's going to be neat.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much. Yeah, so actually on the whole you know, rebranding, we're doing a very methodical kind of coordinated effort here. So that's why, you know, we had the logo competition end last week, and we kind of held off on you know, formally announcing that, just to go through some administrative stuff, trademarking and all that. And we're going to feed that into a coordinated rebrand effort, not just rush that for the sake of rushing it. And I want to do a big shout out to Zen Chick. She's kind of all over the place on the forums and comm channels and all that. And she and Gustavo and Jane did an awesome job basically reworking the website content. So we have this big website rebrand or, you know, redesign going on, but a major part of the redesign is the actual content that goes into it. right? So they did an awesome job just powering through a lot of long hours, going back and forth on what to add and tweaking things and just making it much more relevant and learning best practices from the industry as well. So really cool there. So we're kind of running out of time here. We're at the end. We've got, so the last thing that Tatiana mentioned, I'll just kind of reiterate, is we have a few upcoming events and conferences. This is really important for us to get out into the world and introduce zencash to the world. So we have Jane in Guangzhou Innovation Festival. I think that's this coming week. She's hitting up for that, which is a really big deal in China. We've got World Blockchain Conference in Warsaw that Tatiana mentioned. I'll be out there with her. We'll have Philippe joining us from Arno's team and Alex from David's team. Really excited to meet these guys in person. And then we've got the Latin American Bitcoin and Blockchain Conference in Bogota the following week, the 5th and 6th of December. We're actually going to have a big team presence out there. So this just goes to show that we're emphasizing hard now the Latin American market, because we don't really have much of a presence there. Bringing Angie on board was a first step, and we're going to have a big team presence in Bogota. So we've got a lot coming up, and like Tatiana said, we'll have a lot of media coming out of that as well to keep everyone in the loop on what's going on. So that's all I had in terms of major updates and things that are going on. We have some things in the pipeline that we didn't address here that we'll address next week. And the big thing for me next week, we'll have secure nodes live on mainnet, and we'll have the updated technical roadmap released to the public on Trello. So just a lot more visibility and a lot more activity on the project will be ongoing, and just reorging internally. We're going to be getting a lot more efficient as we go. So it may look like we haven't had all that much going on in the last 2 weeks, but I think that's even a little crazy. I think we've had a ton going on, but actually a lot of our efforts been kind of in the background, things that really aren't, really sexy things to announce, but just basic infrastructure reorganization. For instance, Chronic has just been working his butt off on the server infrastructure, the server clusters support, the secure node system. So all of our guys are just working their butts off in the background, and this will be evident as we go forward in the coming weeks with more announcements. So thank you everyone for joining. Now, were there any, so I've been on the voice call. I haven't really been paying attention so much to the text threads, but if there's any Q&A that I haven't addressed or the community hasn't addressed yet, happy to answer things now and go ahead and reiterate your questions. I saw one question earlier on what are we doing with Asian exchanges. So we actually have some ongoing discussions with some Asian exchanges. Had one reach out from South Korea today. But the big thing with these exchanges is integrations have been, we've had some offers for integration that are just absurdly expensive. And I'm not a fan of using community funds, large amounts of community funds for a listing on exchanges. That's a decision we probably have to make as a community on what kind of magnitude integration costs are we willing to pay to get on some of these exchanges. But it really is important for us to get other major sources of trading liquidity. So we have to do something. We're working a bunch of different channels right now from a few different regions. So please stay tuned, be patient with us on that front. Okay, so I've got a question on the secure nodes. So the question is, when will the 42 Zen staking requirement be required for the qualify for secure nodes? So when we go live on mainnet, it would be great for you to have your 42 Zen stake. But the reality is we're not going to start payments for 2 weeks after that. So if you really want to hold out, you could hold out those extra 2 weeks. And the payments are going to start, or when payments start is when you're really going to be required to have your stake. Any other questions? Okay, have we discussed the possibility of rewarding secure node alpha and beta participants? So this is a great question. So we've had some preliminary discussions internally with the team. We really don't have a public answer for this. Now, this is we're extremely appreciative to everyone who's been devoting their time and resources to help support this system. We've had a very strong community engagement here, which has been great. Now, we don't have a plan that we're ready to announce on whether or not we'll be compensating in any special way. Now, either way, these people who have been active with secure nodes, you have a first mover advantage in general on when the system goes live for payments. You're going to be at the forefront of that. Now, I just don't have a better answer yet as to whether or not we'll have some sort of additional incentive, to compensate for the testing. Yeah, I see some people typing. And yeah, Dom, I agree that the proposal system, that would be for the proposal system. We need to get much better transparency in the community engagement on major decisions.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Are there plans to increase the required stake over time? Now, this is again a really, really good. So I'll say it from the original white paper. The plan all along was to say, like, we're empiricists here. Our first attempt was a 42 Zen stake requirement for secure nodes, but we said right away, or we said from the start, that this is something that we're going to be is subject to change, based on market feedback, right? Depending on the size of the node architecture is one very important variable. Like if we, for instance, don't get enough nodes out there and we don't feel that we have enough of a distributed system, then of course we reserve the right to increase the payout to get that additional economic incentive. Number two, I alluded to this earlier when we were talking about secure nodes, is we are paying for services rendered. Essentially, you're rendering services to the network by hosting a secure node. And as we're increasing the set of services that we're going to be asking people to do, we very well could be increasing the payout to the node operators to provide these services. There's a whole set of potentially really cool things that we can do that are very innovative with our node architecture. So if we increase the set of these services, we could very well increase the payout for them. So yes, absolutely, it could change over time. And it could actually go down over time too. I'm not saying it could only increase, but say we have 100,000 nodes and we have way more than would be a reasonable requirement for maximum decentralization, then we could potentially decrease the reward there. I don't think that situation is likely. I think that we're going to be pushing the technological frontier here with the types of services that we ask the node operators to perform. Okay. Will we develop a user-friendly tool to install a secure node on Win10? Okay, so probably yes, but this won't be. It most likely won't be from our team directly. We have a bunch of people in the community who are doing tutorials. We're going to provide basic tutorials. Now, our goal all along was for at least the first secure node V1. We want IT professionals and those who really know what they're doing to be setting these up so that we have some kind of fuzzy assurance that we have technical proficiency to be hosting our network. So we don't plan on having a team kind of like secure node in a box solution. But that's not to say that other community members won't do that. In fact, I've talked to Pierre, for instance, was talking about doing something similar where it'd be kind of like a secure node in a box where you can kind of buy it, set it up, click a button, and everything's good. So expect that maybe from other people, not directly from the team. Do we think zencash surpasses other privacy coins capabilities such as Monero, along with up-and-coming ones such as Vivo? So it depends. In what dimension do we consider surpassing? Do we have a stronger cryptographic primitive at the protocol level? It's debatable. I think that zero-knowledge proofs are the strongest protocol-level cryptography you can employ. That doesn't differentiate us from guys like Zcash that are also running them. But we have our node architecture that runs TLS for end-to-end encryption. So that's something that's unique right now on the market, which protects people's metadata. So on that dimension, I would say we do better. There's a whole set of dimensions that you would want to evaluate any coin. I'm not here to pump up zencash over anything else in the world. The way I see this is we're all working in the same direction to make this a better world and fight for individual rights and privacy, freedom. So, I support a bunch of other projects. I think it's unique in a bunch of ways, and I love our team. I love our community. I think we have an amazing roadmap that you'll learn a lot more about. I think that what we've done has already been pretty incredible just in the last 6 months, and we're just accelerating this momentum. So, I'm clearly biased, but I'm not here to say only buy zencash or only look at our project and participate. Definitely check out plenty of others out there. Everyone should make their own decisions for themselves. We're not here to just shill our own project. Let's see. When can we expect Arizen for iOS? And when can we expect some hardware wallet manufacturers towards zencash? Okay, so Arizen for iOS, I'm not sure. That's a question for Lucas. That's not their focus right now. But we do have an iOS focus. So Kendrick has an iOS wallet ready to go. It's actually, I'm the bottleneck on that one. I'm getting us an organizational Apple developer account approved. So I've started that process. We should have that shortly. And then basically once we have that, we can publish the iOS app. And we'll have others on the market. I don't have a specific time frame though. I could kind of joke around and say 1 to 2 weeks, which we tend to say for everything, but realistically I don't. But definitely ping Lucas. He's the Arizen expert. His team's leading that effort. So I think that they would love to hear the recommendation or just the community feedback that they want. They want that on iOS. Now, hardware wallets. So Ledger is our hardware wallet. We're working hard to integrate right now. I don't have a specific date. I know Jake and I were talking previously when he was here of, maybe a couple weeks, but, realistically, just to be safe, we're targeting probably end of year because we have a bunch of holidays between now and then. So the schedule could slip a little bit. So just to be safe, I'll say we would like to have our first hardware wallet option by the end of the year. And that's just the start. Then from there, we'll move on to the next hardware wallet integration. And then the next, and so on. We want to have as many options as possible. What else? Yeah, I agree with you, Dark Avenger. Core teams should focus on developing core features for cash. Definitely a focus, especially on the blockchain front. We have a whole bunch of just blockchain upgrades that we need to focus on. So there's a lot to do there. See. Yeah, what is the best channel to reach more people and increase our community? Okay, yeah, great question. Now this is maybe some of our marketing people that are online might want to ask this. I know we have a lot of activity on Twitter, here on Discord. There's a Telegram channel that I'm always popping in. We have Slack, which isn't really open to the public anymore because of all the massive amount of spam on there. But yeah, this is something we definitely need to focus on. So we'll work with you, Angie, to figure it out. But I imagine the marketing channels in Mexico and Latin America are going to be a bit different than what we've experienced, say, in Russia and Eastern Europe. Can we get a line of swag to bring brand awareness? Okay, absolutely. Detroit player, great question. So Zen Chick has already done, I don't know, 90% or so of the work to put together a merchandise store. So she got derailed a little bit because the website content was really high priority. So she's just been doing a ton of work in the background. So now that the website content is handed off to the web dev team, now she's going to be rotating back to the merchandising stuff. But absolutely, we're going to have, it'll likely be, the store will be on our website, maybe like merchandise.zensystem.io. And don't quote me on the URL, but it'll be nice, and you'll be able to go and order from drop shippers and pay in Zen. So it's really important to us that people buy swag in Zen. Okay. Is Lightning and Zencash's future? Okay, so really good question. Now, Lightning is an off-chain scaling solution where transactions are kind of paired with other trusted parties offline on a separate system and then adjudicated to the blockchain when necessary. So I'm not going to commit to Lightning. What we are doing, and we're going to be starting a big R&D effort in the next couple of weeks. So this will be conversation more for next live stream, but we're going to have a scaling R&D project. And the scaling project is going to start off with a report that analyzes a variety of scaling solutions on the market. Now, a variety of these scaling solutions are off-chain solutions like Lightning, and we have some options for on-chain solutions like upgrading our protocol with, for instance, the Spectre protocol, which is this DAG-based protocol, a directed acyclic graph. So moving from a blockchain to a graph. This is some deep R&D though. It's not a decision that we want to take lightly and make prematurely. So stay tuned. We'll announce the R&D project, but we're going to approach it like scientists. Well, we're actually going to have scientists work on this project because scaling is a really big issue, and we want to do things Lightning-like. We want to do things like Dash has instant spend kind of thing. So these are all really big items for our updated roadmap that will be forthcoming in 2 weeks. I agree, ZJK. Lightning is a double-edged sword. So adopting some kind of scaling solution like that requires a lot of research. Okay, Dark Avenger. Yes. So the original white paper talks about setting up DAOs and voting systems. Absolutely. So the first voting system we have is going to be the simple GUI that Dump's setting up right now. I wouldn't exactly call this a DAO. It's a nice user interface for submitting proposals and voting on them. Now, the next step from there, though, which is an R&D project again that we'll be talking about. So next live stream in 2 weeks will be kind of like our big roadmap discussion and R&D pipeline discussion. But a big part of the R&D pipeline that we've talked about or hinted at in previous sessions was this protocol level proposal submission and voting system. This will be like our DAO. So once we bake into our protocol a standardized and easy way for anyone in the world to submit proposals and for any Zen stakeholder to vote on these proposals and get rewarded for voting, have some good game theory incentives there. Once we have this in place, then we can have, so what I would consider kind of like a DAO would be, we have this infrastructure baked into our protocol, and then take our current team right now. Say we roll our current team into a proposal, and it costs X amount of Zen for per quarter or whatever time period we're bidding on, and we submit our team as a proposal to the protocol. Zen stakeholders vote on this, and we get voted in, we get budget. Then we would be kind of like we would be a DAO. Now, you can see that this is scalable in the sense that there's nothing precluding multiple DAOs from existing. So once the protocol itself can be a central point, or I should say a decentralized point of autonomously making decisions via the community, then we have the infrastructure to have multiple competing DAOs to do different things. Right? They could do overlapping things or whatnot. So there's a lot to go on there, but we're definitely working in that direction. Okay. Yeah, I know the bi-weekly updates are getting bigger. That's a good and bad thing. We'll try to make them a little bit succinct, right? Like snarks are succinct. We'll try to make our live streams a little bit more succinct. Oh yeah, we have a lot more people watching, so we have to keep getting a little bit more professional with it. Okay, if we need to upgrade secure nodes because of transaction volume, would there be a way to bypass a single change restriction to keep the same for FQDNs for our nodes, for the current challenge integrate already? Okay, so the entire system is designed to be flexible. So we're not setting up the system to say, here's a snapshot in time, this is what it's going to be, it's immutable. Blockchain should be immutable, but not necessarily the systems that we build on top of them. So the secure node system will evolve over time. So it certainly could change. Let's see, less serious question, Dark Avenger. What about commemorative coins? Yeah, so Rolf Block Ops is going to be handling the commemorative coins. I'm really excited to get some of these myself. So anyone that voted on the logo contest will qualify to get a free coin. So just make sure you remember the address that you used to vote, and we'll make sure that we get you a coin. But Rolf's going to be the point of contact for that. Now, we have a ton going on right now, so I can't give you a date, but for sure we'll do that. It'll most likely coincide with our merchandising swag store. So can we get some VPS providers accepting zencash? Absolutely. That's a really big point for our business development. Noted. Thank you for the input. Thanks to Detroit Player for the good feedback. Cool. I think we're 20 minutes past where I wanted to be our stop point, but I love the questions here. We've had some really, really awesome community engagement, and I'm really happy to have these opportunities where we get everyone online and people can ask questions directly. So, thank you very much for your participation. Thank you for, chiming in or listening to this on YouTube. Feel free to reach out to us at any point. We're always happy to hear community feedback, and always happy to have community members step up their own participation, right? Like I think that we're creating history here. Don't be a just don't stand by and watch it happen. Don't be a bystander. If you want to participate, by all means, just reach out, and we'll find a way for you to help out. So thank you very much. I think we could probably conclude here. Jake, if you want to cut the live stream, and we can have everyone continue their days.